Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a Scrap a Sketch creative team layout. I'm also doing the striptease hop, and I am playing with my counterfeit kit. So with the striptease for this scrapbook way, it is to use your branding strips in a rainbow kind of order, or rainbow with the branding strips was the prompt for this time. So this is going to be a hop once a month for the next foreseeable future to get some of those strips used up. So those are the pictures I'm scrapbooking today. That piece of cardstock paper that I have right there is from Scrap a Sketch. I believe it's from the Bon Appetit collection. I'm 99% sure. I think it's from that one. And then there are some other bits and pieces from the Scrap a Sketch, and I'm also using a premium sketch. So I can't show you the sketch today because it is part of a paid subscription with Scrap a Sketch, but they are amazing and very affordable. So it gives you lots of different sketches for a good price. I'm going to take this printable and I'm going to cut it down. And so I cut my photos down to 3x6, which is not a usual size, but that's what I chose. And then I'm just going to mat them all together. So a lot of times I mat my photos separately, one at a time. Today I'm going to do it in a big block. So I'm going to bring in my T-square because that did not look straight to me, and it probably would have been just fine, but. And then I have a centimeter in between, so I'm going to do a centimeter in between here, and then I'm just going to cut the bottom off again and the side down so that it's about the same. And then that puts in a whole bunch of the rainbow colors as a background piece. And I also pulled that background paper that's a ledger. It was from Studio Calico. I pulled that to be my background piece because it is not going to compete with all the other colors that I'm going to get on here. And then I pulled out a bunch of embellishments from Scrap a Sketch. Oh, words. And a bunch of branding strips that I had, and some branding strips that I had from this kit as well. And I'm going to play with all this together. So I'm going to get this block down right away. It is subtle against that white ledger, but that's okay. I'm okay with that being subtle. And then to pull out these really old rub-ons, and so I'm going to use the Fun. And you can't see the Sketch Premium 58, but it has the title down the side here. So I'm going to use that there, and I think that's pretty cute. I'm going to put these on right away before I get to my branding strips and scrap strips. And I'm going to show you the one. They actually went on really well for being really old. And then I'm going to come back and have them all done because it's all the same. And so then I'm going to use just parts of these. So I'm going to use about this much of them. So I'm going to do this in rainbow order, and I'm going to go up the side here. And I thought about doing just one of each colors, but that's not what I'm going to end up deciding on. So, and then a little piece on the side here, because that is super cute. So I'm looking at, what do I have here that I pulled out? Not that one. Okay, so I have this red one. This one is a branding strip from a Studio Calico paper. This is also a Studio Calico paper. So I'm going to use the colors that I have for these ones that match for these kind of branding strips. So there was a lot of papers for a little while with Studio Calico when they had their 12 by 12 subscription that had this diagonal branding strip on it. So I'm going to use as many of them as I can in this color, which I have all except for blue and purple. So blue, I probably had one at one point, but I didn't see it in my strips, so meh. And then, yeah, a little piece. This is a different branding strip, but those two hearts are from a Scrap a Sketch printable. In a lot of Lisa's printables, she does have hearts and flowers. So choosing a background paper is an easy way to go, because you can take a look at, if you're doing the collection, quite a few of her collections, almost all of them from what I have seen, do have hearts and flowers and different things that you would use on a page. That's another flower from a Scrap a Sketch. I also pulled out some of the banners. The banners, I think, came from the Bon Appetit as well. Now I'm just laying out some of these bits. So that like purple banner and that flower are from a Scrap a Sketch collection. This purple flower is, this banner is, that yellow banner is, this blue one. So I pulled out a bunch of stuff that I had. So just trying to sort out what I want to do. So obviously I decided that I'm going to do more than one strip instead of the one skinny strip. And that's, I think, kind of fun. I like how that's looking so far. Those cameras for that paper is some leftovers that I have from the I Love Scrapbooking set. So that's super cute. And then this is reddish, and this one came from, this one is Bon Appetit, but my Bon Appetit, when I printed it the first time, my printer was acting weird and printed them in weird colors, but this is going to work on this one today, so I kept them anyway, just in case I could use them. And then that red flower, also Scrap a Sketch. And then I'm going, yeah, I like that better. So then this piece is going to go down first, and it's going to get tucked, and then this, and then the flower is going to get tucked underneath the banner, but on top of the red piece on the bottom. And then I'm going to go in a rainbow order. So then here's my yellow. This one is exactly like the other one. This is actually a piece of washi tape, but I thought it looked good. And the color blocking is fun. I enjoy that. So I'm going to keep on doing the color blocking. And then this one. And now I'm using the ledger paper for the line, and I'm counting up 3 in between because I figured that will work. Did I actually count that out? Totally didn't. Does it work perfectly? It totally does. Did that end up being a 100% fluke? 100% a fluke. That's okay. So then this banner is going to go here. I'm going to put this flower here for now, but that is going to change. And then I'm looking at which ones do I want to use for the greens. This is another one of those Studio Calico pieces. Cutting it about the same length. Slide it in. And then I'm going to use this piece, which I believe came off of one of my kits this month. And then this is just a scrap piece. So that's going to slide in. And I'm actually going to add a 4th one to this one, and it gets the banner too. And then I did clean up a little bit before I moved on to this blue and purple. So I'm going to do the top one first with the purple. And so that's a piece of scrap cardstock and border strip, cardstock, other border strip. This border strip came out of my kit this month too. And then the flower. And now I just have the blue to pop on here. So this border strip, this border strip or branding strip, and this Scrap-A-Sketch banner. And that's super cute. And I can put them right where they need to be. And so I like that. And then I do want something to go on each of those color blocks. So this is why I pulled out this camera paper from the I Love Scrapbooking collection, because oh, look at these cameras. Oh, they're so cute. So I'm going to fussy cut out one of each of the middle colors. So a yellow, an orange, a green, and a blue. And then that flower is not going to stay, but I'm going to replace it with a camera because I thought that was a little bit more balanced. And looking at it and going, yep, totally need an orange one. I love these. These are so super cute. I need to print some more of them off. I'm also wondering if I printed off that camera page, if I could get it to cut properly on my Cricut so I don't have to fussy cut them all. I'm not sure if that'll work or not. I'll let you know when I try it. And then this is not glued down yet, but this is all planned out now, so easy peasy done. I dropped that one, so a little more glue, but oh well. And then there's purple that I put in a little long, so I'm just gonna cut it off because I want that double line to show. For the most part, the only spot it doesn't is where the red flower is. And then that one, and then this flower piece, and then this other flower, and that is super cute. So now I want to deal with the right side. So I did cut a little bit of these pieces. I don't know what I did with the red one. It's probably on the floor. But I'm going to put this yellow piece down. And I was thinking of just doing the one of each of the bottoms to start with. But then it looked a little sparse. So I will change it up here in a second. But I'm going to start with this part. And sorry about my head and the focus to get it right on the line where I need it to be. And this piece being as small as it is, I gotta get my head there. It focuses on my hair instead of the page. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. And then this blue. And the purple. And now I have to find my red piece. The red, and that's looking a little sparse. I'm like, I wonder if I do one of each of the pieces so that there is at least 2, but probably 3. So I try it with the purple to start with, and that looks pretty cute. This orange one's already cut, and that will be pretty cute. I was thinking about doing not all of them, but every other one, and I'm like, let's just try all of it to start with. So that one goes there. And looking at the pieces that I have, because it's a mess right there. Super, super cute. Liking that so far. And then I'm going, I've got the 2. Do I do the 3? So let's try. So this one I wanted to cut so that I have the circle piece that's part of that pattern in that one. So, and then it's not quite square, so I'm gonna rough the edges up on this one. And I don't do all of them, but I do a couple of the middle ones. So, and then this is going to line up with the top piece on the other side, be in that top piece, and then this one is just going to overlap in between the two. So I'm not too precious about that middle piece on how it overlaps, but I do want the top piece that I'm putting on and the bottom piece to be aligned with the cluster on the other side. And then I am taking, if there's a banner there, and that's one of the 3 pieces that I have, I'm taking the banner and I'm cutting a piece out of the leftover banner to make that square. In the green one, because I have 4 pieces, I don't use a banner in this one. Just use 3. This is a super fun layout for a sketch. Mine's not quite the same as what it is for the premium, but a sketch is just a jumping off point, so lots of fun. And then the purple I didn't line up properly, so I'm gonna move it down just a touch. I don't know why I didn't, but that's okay. And then that top one's easy to line up. And then this middle one, I ruffled up the flower part. And that is a lot cuter. I'm happy with that. I'm looking for this piece so that I have not just the red or the single red, because there's 2 of them there. So that's there. And then I'm going to do a tiny little journaling block to cover up that orange bit with this journaling box from the I Love Scrapbooking one, and it ties those cameras in. Just super cute. Cut it off nice. And then I'm going to write my journaling as dinner, dessert, and exploding kittens, because that's what they're playing, is exploding kittens. And I'm going to have to come back and spell dessert properly because I only put 1 S in it. And I didn't notice that until I started doing my voiceover. So it'll be easy enough to fix, but when that happens, it's annoying. And then the last finishing touches is I'm going to do some color blocking with some enamel dots, 1 in each side. Just super cute. And then I didn't have a red one, so I'm going to use this orangey red. Oh, and yellow. I was hoping I had a better red, but I don't. But I'm looking. I don't have very many enamel dots left. So, not really. Those are all of the ones I have. So, yeah. So these ones are like the orangey red, but it's good enough. It has a dot. I'm not going to worry about it. And then I'm looking, I'm going, what else do I want? So I want a little bit of black on here, so I'm just going to outline the edge with my black ink pad. And it's not so noticeable on screen, but it is noticeable in person. And then I'm going to use my Hero Arts lacquer pen, which has a lot of sparkle to it. So it gets a spot on each of the camera lenses, and then in each of the clusters across for those colors, I'm going to do at least, well, I'm going to do 2 to start with, and then I decide it needs 3. So each of them are going to get an extra one. That blue one there is really big, and I'm like, oh, how do I fix it? So I'm debating. These dry kind of like enamel dots, so it works out pretty well. And then there's going to be a couple on this side for each cluster. And so just showing the lacquer pen. Again, that was Hero Arts, and I was tapping on the bottom just so that it wasn't quite a big droppy, so they were like more flat. And then this is how I'm fixing that big gloppy bit. So I took my X-Acto knife and I pulled it off, and then I'm just going to put that last little bit on in a nicer spot. And that's a wrap on this page. So I will have close-ups to follow. And if you loved how this came out today, please like, subscribe, and share some crafty love in the comments. Scrap a Sketch will be linked below, as well as the striptease scrapbooking playlist and and my counterfeit information for the blog as well, and Facebook group. And then there'll actually be a discount code coming up here for you too. So if you go to the scrapasketch.com, their printables, stencils, and books are 10% off with my code. So my code is Amanda10. The premium sketches are also on there too, but they don't get the code for discount. But yeah, thank you so much for being here today. Have a great day. Until next time, stay inspired, scrappy, and full of ideas.